Hey, 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 what's up, everyone? Welcome into Attacking Third. It's Thursday. We've got an absolutely packed show, some retirees we're talking about. We're hitting every single NWSL team, and today we've moved on to Bay FC. There's been transfers and trades and a preview of the Barclays Women's Super League coming up for you. Alongside Darian Jenkins and Christine Cupo, I'm Lisa Carlin. Good morning, my friends. How are you, Dee? What's up?
Oh, it's such a good morning. I got to sleep in a couple extra hours. Feel like a new woman. Things are good. I missed you guys last week. How was the show?
It was good. We missed you. Yeah, we missed you all week. You weren't on Monday because you were busy doing the morning footy with Galazzo Network, which is fine. We do share begrudgingly, but we do share. But we missed you. I don't know. There wasn't anything too crazy, was there, Christine?
I mean, I don't even know what day it is today, so you can't ask me. Like, I lost my memory on Monday morning doing like the morning footy double, where I actually got to see Darian
Yeah.
IRL, which was a small treat. But yeah, I definitely was flattened like a balloon on Tuesday because I was just like, what? I can't do anything. Lift an arm? No, I need another nap. But yeah, you're a warrior all this week on morning footy,
Yeah.
D.
But
Thanks, fam.
apparently
Thanks. I'm
she
happy to
doesn't.
be back.
Yeah, but apparently she doesn't go back and watch Attacking Third episodes. So
I listened to them on my way to the show.
apparently not.
Always.
Uh, we are without the best of all of us, Sandra Herrera today. She's in LA for NWSL Media Days. So she's boots on the ground in LA to give us some updates ahead of the NWSL season. We'll get her back next week and she'll tell us everything. Absolutely love it. Anything else, guys? Should we just dive in? I feel like we should just get into it.
Let's get into
Whatever
it.
you say, boss.
Let's get into it. Guys, thanks for hanging with us. Appreciate it. Always love chatting with you. Before we do get into it, though, as a reminder, we are continuing to keep our hearts and our minds with those affected by the wildfires in California. You can donate at redcross.org/CBS. Though the donations will go directly to those affected by providing shelter, meals, and relief items. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Visit redcross.org/CBS, or you can just text the word Red Cross to 90999 and it makes a $10 donation. Everything helps for those people. Let's dive into it. We've had a bunch of retirees, and now we say goodbye to another legend of the game. Bay FC defender and Scottish international Jen Beattie has announced her retirement from professional football. She had an absolutely stellar 18-year career spanning 5 countries, 14 trophies. She's played at some of the world's top clubs, Arsenal, Man City, and then finished her career with one final season in NWSL with Bay FC. I mean, when you take a look at her career resume, she's done it all. 5 WSL championships, 4 FA Cup championships, 4 FA Leagues Cup champions, and she even goes out with a bang, winning the 2024 Lauren Holiday Impact Award with Bay FC this year. Christine, it's been electric to watch Jen Beattie play. And it feels like she's really found solace in saying goodbye and stepping into the next phase of her life, really.
I mean, if I had won a fraction of those awards, yeah, I could be content retiring too, maybe. But yeah, no, she's great. She was an outstanding defender. She's had a storied career. I'm interested to see what she's into next. She's just got a great head on her shoulders. She's very active in using her platform for good. Her relationship with Pink Ribbon Good in California when she got to Bay was significant and a great charity to get behind. I think that, the next logical leap is like she's got to jump on into media and start winning awards there too. But hey, I don't know.
Hey, I love that shout.
I'm like
Pardon
volunteering
me.
her for jobs that she doesn't know that she's signing up for. I'm
She
like,
does a lot
hey,
of media
Jen,
already. She does a lot of media. I
she
imagine
does,
she's
but
got one foot in the
she's
door
great
there.
at it. I'm like, hey, you wanna do analysis? You should do some analysis. Like, I'm now her agent. No, she's great, and I think that she'll be a great asset to sort of carrying the torch for the women's game now off the pitch, and just sort of bridging the gap between what's happened in European play and then also domestic play now that she's been in both worlds.
I completely agree. A big thing for me too is everything that she's done off of the field. I mean, winning the Lauren Holiday Impact Award with Nationwide is huge. And her premier year in the NWSL with Bay FC, she also won BBC's Helen Rollison Award, overcoming adversity. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2020, and it was very public. I remember seeing this, reading articles about it, hearing her advocate and actually get proper treatment with her club. And she was in and out of playing and was able to overcome it. And she carried that throughout her career, advocating for Pink Ribbon. And she's just a very instrumental player in the growth of the game all throughout Europe. I mean, Christine, you're right. Having a couple of the awards that she's won would be enough for anybody's career. But the fact that she was able to collect so many is just a testament to what an instrumental player she was in the women's game.
It's easy when you look at a player like Jen Beattie to look at all the awards that she has won, right, off on the field and off the field. But when you dive a little deeper into her career and how it started and playing in Scotland and then going to England and playing for Arsenal, but they weren't professional yet. And she had to go through all the growing pains that come with women's football that we know so well on this show, but she really had to live through them. And then getting her first professional contract and doing things so young and spreading her wings to go play in France when she was like a young 20, 22-year-old and learn a new language, figure it out, go through everything, which Dee, I know you've done, but it's very cool to think about how many different steps she's taken in her career, and that there was always an eye on the NWSL. It's tough to watch when you're in Europe because of the time change, but there was always an eye on the league here in America and how competitive it was. And if the opportunity presented itself, which it did for her final career, I mean, why not go live in California for another 12 months before maybe you say goodbye? Like, what a perfect little cherry on top for Jen Beattie. Of all her career, though, favorite moments? Do you have any, Dee?
I have one. Last Champions League, we got to watch her, 2 ago, we got to watch her with Arsenal go up against Wolfsburg in the semifinal, and she scored an electric equalizer, and the crowd went wild. And it was such a great game. Sorry, Cupo, Arsenal went on to lose the match. Wolfsburg came out on top. But to me, that's one of the first instances where I was just impacted by how consistent she is, what a leader she is on this team, and what a way to score your goal in Champions League like that.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Christine, do you have any? I mean, she's a longtime Arsenal legend, whether watching her, you even got to interview her for Attacking Third a couple months ago. Any favorite moments from Jen Beattie?
It's funny because that's one of my favorite goals that Darian just mentioned, but not because of the goal, but because she actually bodied, like, who was it right after that? She literally bodied a defender like so hard, accidentally celebrating. And I brought that up to her and she started laughing. She's like, no, I don't score goals very often. And I just turned and was just like plowed right into her. And I was like, honestly, it's like a highlight clip in my brain that's on loop. And I'm so glad that that's like the recency bias goal now. Is not the goal, but just like the fact that she just like turned around and trucked a Wolfsburg defender and was like, "Oh yeah, my bad."
You can't help it when you're celebrating.
Yeah,
I know, but like, I mean, as somebody that seldom scored goals, but like was more the person who was, yeah, like I get it. You leave your body and you're just like, ah, and you're like, did I just do that? No, I didn't do that.
Especially when you're a defender and you don't score. I believe she had 24 goals domestically for her career and also 24 internationally with Scotland. So, hey, she found the back of the net. We'll see what's up next. She might be around Golazo Network later this week. Keep an eye out on Golazo Network, Morning Footy, perhaps. We'll see what's up. And maybe we'll get an answer from her about what's next for Jen Beattie, if she's stepping into the media world and where we can find her. What's up? We've also had another retiree in longtime NWSL goalkeeper. She was last season with Gotham FC, but it's goalkeeper Michele Betos announcing her retirement after a 15-year career. She's an NWSL OG. She started with Seattle in 2013. And Darian, now Michele Betos is entering the next chapter of her life in retirement.
Oh, this was such a bittersweet retirement because I got to play with Misha at Reign, and she is one of those players that the league was really built on. She carried a lot of the brunt of going through every iteration of the NWSL and has continued to push it forward and advocate, and has always been a player that when new players come in, she makes them feel so welcome and at home, and goes out of her way to make sure that everybody feels seen and heard and gets what they deserve. Not that's just her off of the field, but her on the field. She is an incredible goalkeeper, incredible shot stopper. I mean, she has the ninth most saves in the NWSL with 385 in her decorated career. But to me, this makes a lot of sense going to the next phase. She does a lot of mental health work with athletes, a lot of helping them transition, overcome obstacles and adversity. And I think this isn't the last we're going to see of Mish in the women's game and just around soccer in general. But congratulations, she's had a truly incredible career, and going out winning winning a NWSL championship with Gotham last year.
Let's go.
It's not a bad way to have a little cherry on top of a very long career.
Let's go. So true. So true. Wishing her the best. And Jen Beattie. But we're going to do favorite moments too for Michele Betos. But I want to talk about Gotham for a second, because now when you look at their goalkeeping pool, Betos was a free agent. They have Ann-Katrin Berger, German international, who stole the #1 spot last year, but they've traded Abby Smith. They've traded Cassie Miller. They've brought in Shelby Hogan as a goalkeeper, and then the rookie Ryan Campbell. But interesting to go from essentially 3 starting caliber NWSL goalkeepers in Smith, Miller, for Betos and Berger, to now down to 1 or 2, right? Shelby Hogan started for a while, but interesting. What do you think Gotham's going to do this year?
Gotham's going to have their younger goalkeepers with Ryan Campbell, Shelby Hogan. I think take a big look at Ann-Katrin Berger, try to learn under her, because, I mean, best goalkeeper in the world. I think some people could make an argument that there's other goalkeepers, but I think consistently wise and all around, Ann-Katrin Berger simply is her. I would be looking forward, if I were one of those keepers, to learn under her, pick up some of her game IQ, get better at their feet, because Ann-Katrin Berger is great at her feet. I think they have clearly their starting goalkeeper, and this is just the second backup of how strong can we make this goalkeeping union again without maybe players that think they should be starting or could be starting anywhere else. I think it makes the balance a little bit more even going into this next season. But hey, Gotham's changing everything, so we'll see how they're going to show up.
Just a little combo about Gotham. Okay, favorite moments from Michele Betos and her career. Christine, you got one? D, you got one that you're thinking of?
I do have one loaded in my brain. Go ahead, D.
Mine is definitely when she scored that freaking header goal against it when she was playing with Portland from a corner, and they end up winning the game. I remember tuning into that game hella late. It was tied up, dying minutes, and she goes forward. And mind you, she wasn't always a starting goalkeeper for Portland. It was very in and out. And she has a diving header. I wish we could show it, but everybody go look up Michele Betos' goal for Portland Thorns.
It was a while ago. You were still playing, D? No.
Yeah, I was still playing.
Yeah.
I was in college.
I think it was
I was in college.
Oh my God.
2015, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were playing against some of my old Bruin teammates from UCLA.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
That's the first time I'd seen a female goalkeeper go up and score a diving header to
win
a game.
You always want it to happen when you see the keeper go up for a set piece or a corner. You're like, it's going to be them. And 99% of the time, it's just not.
It's usually not. Like a bad corner that goes out or like misses everybody.
And she freaking buried it. So good. So good. That's mine, hands down. It's the best moment there is for Michele Betos. I mean, how often does a keeper get to
iconic
score? It is absolutely iconic. Congratulations to Michele Betos, to Jen Beattie on their absolutely historic careers. They add their names to a lengthy list of players that have retired in the last 12 months. What's happening? Why are all these people retiring? Darian, do you have any insight in this?
I don't know. Maybe we're getting old. I think these are players. This is different when even thinking about sports medicine. 10 years ago, how different was that approaching return of ACLs, concussions, even having your period and playing. Like all of these things, these players have had to grind through with very minimal support. They are what women's soccer globally has been built on, these players. So you get a point and god dog, you're tired. These players are just tired. They've been through the ringer. And I think looking at it now, looking at, there's not even a college draft anymore. Players get picked up super young. You have players signing that are 14 years old. This is where they've always envisioned the game going. This is the game that they wanted to have when they entered the pro space or when they were younger. And I think because they've shouldered through all of the adversity that comes with being a female professional athlete, that now they've made that road so much easier. It's the time to step away and wipe your hands of it and let the next generations come and keep pushing the game forward. And I think that's why the last year or so we've seen these players that are so decorated and who we've all grown up watching and emulating their games after are taking a step back, because I think they've done all that they can do. The game keeps going, players keep getting better, and it's time to wash your hands and move on to the next phase of your life. And I think that's why we've seen so many players step away, but not the last we'll see of them.
That's so bittersweet and emotional. Honestly, it's emotional. I think you hit it for me there. It's these players I grew up watching that it feels like all the greats are leaving the game right now, but they've also been around for a while and they had to go through so much. And when you think about how the first two professional domestic leagues in the United States folded and then the NWSL started, they were the pioneers of the NWSL, so many of these players, and ensuring that it would go on past the 3-year mark, which no other league had done before, past the 10-year mark as we enter into the 2025 season of year 13 of this league. Whew. That's probably what it is. It's just been, they've been accessible players to watch, to cheer for, to interview, to cover, that it is so bittersweet. Like for me personally, that was like an I feel Lisa statement.
Yeah, it also like reminds everyone how not old the leagues are. Like these players who sort of built the leagues that, yeah, like a lot of the wear and tear that got put on their shoulders, both like physically, emotionally, mentally, in helping build these leagues. People discount that. It's not just the playing and it's not just the professional career, it's their amateur careers that led into these professional careers. So when you look at these players that, oh, they've been playing for 20 years, like it's 20 plus years. It's more than that. It's taxing. It's a lot. It's a well-deserved retirement at this point. Granted, like, yeah, we're a little bit selfish and we would like them to stick around, but like kudos to all of them. And yeah, I think we're just going to start to see these waves of retirements just as they age up and realize, like, you know what, there's something more than grinding down my knee cartilage.
Well, any player that is retiring, has already retired or looking to retire, give us a call. We'd love to chat with you or have you join Attacking Third. Just putting it out there. Don't go anywhere, guys. We are going to talk Bay FC, diving deep into that team when we get back. Stick with us. Expansion side Bay FC enters their second year of existence in 2025. They made the playoffs in 2024, but they want to do so much more than that in their second season. What do they have to do? How can they bulk up and be better for this year? We are talking all about it. Bay finished 7th in 2024, so they did make the playoffs in their first campaign. 34 points, 11 wins, 1 draw, 14 losses. It was all about going for the dub and losing the draw for Albertin Montoya in his inaugural season. They signed initially midfielder Alex Ueda as the club's cornerstone to build around them. And there was world record signings with Zambian forward Rachel Kudananji, Nigerian forward Asisato Shwala. In the midseason, they picked up defender Abby Dahlkamper, but truly it was an up and down season for Bay FC, Darian. I think it's fair to say that through match day 5 last year, Bay didn't have their first win yet. And then you think about the end of the season, they won 7 of their last 10, but defensively, there was a lot of holes. 41 goals against last year, 4th worst in the league. I mean, when you think about 2024 for Bay, come on, put it into a cute little package for us to unwrap and dissect.
Wow, you had to expose them. 41.
That's rough.
Jesus.
To make
That's
playoffs,
rough.
though, that's pretty impressive considering 4th worst goals against.
It's impressive, but they conceded 41 goals, yet made playoffs. That encapsulates Bay's season. For me, watching Albertin Montoya, who's a former coach of mine, I love Albertin. He's a great, great coach, but jumping into NWSL now is a heavy feat. And I think we saw them have their roller coaster, especially at the start to mid of the season, of who is Bay? What is their identity? Who are Bay? What is their identity? How are they trying to play? Are they ultra attacking and trying to press? Sometimes. Are they sitting in a low block and not attacking at all, not getting the best out of these key signings they made as forwards, Asisat Oshawa and Rachel Kindananji? It was trying to find a balance was the whole first half of their season of what are they trying to do? How are they trying to play? Second half of the season, we saw them find their footing. They finally were building out of the back. They brought in Abbas Dalcampus, former UCLA Bruin with Caprice Didasco. We saw that relationship back together and flourishing, and I think that gave the team a lot of confidence and leadership to keep the ball, to move forward, to try to build out of the back, picking the right times to go forward. Then once we saw Rachel Kundananji and Asisa Oshawa start to play off of each other, that's when people started to really respect Bay. That you have to defend well against them because now they will punish you. Their forwards are looking confident. I still think it was such a trial year for them to grow a lot, and they did. But I want to see those relationships keep coming together so that we can actually have a very clear, defined style of play for what Bay is going to bring to table and how dangerous they can be. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see them make a couple signings. I know the window's closing here, but I do still think they need a little bit more depth in the midfield and possibly another key striker to add something a little bit different in their front line.
The AFC has done, I mean, they lost defender Jen Beattie in this offseason as she's retired. They traded midfielder Alex Luera to Utah, but they've signed 2 rookies out of college, University of Cal Berkeley's forward Carly Lema, and then the All-American out of Florida State University, Taylor Huff. She's a midfielder. So they're adding depth, Darian, but it's young depth, and it's not perhaps one of those out-and-out strikers that's just going to score all the goals because it's hard for rookies to come into this league and change so much. So, Christine, what's the next evolution for Albertin Montoya and Bay FC as they enter into just year 2 of existence, right? They're still babies. They're a little toddler.
They're a toddler, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Albertine always had a vision for what should be, and once they picked up Abby Dahlkemper, you sort of saw more of those pieces fall into place just from a leadership perspective, but also you saw their center backs start to sit a little bit wider. You saw Abby's long diagonal balls able to sort of stretch teams better. The outside backs getting up on the flank. So Melanson using a little bit of her speed, which I think put her on the radar for the US team a bit for Emma. And Rudy and Oshwala coming together, but then also like Rachel Hill coming into form, them picking up Penelope Hawking as like another attacking option, I think was a really smart. I think the relationships that we sort of start to come together will strengthen. So yeah, I think all in, like definitely the midfield is thin and they need, I feel like a little bit more veteran players. I think otherwise Albertine has, I don't know. He articulated really, really well, even on coaches' calls, like what they needed to do, trying to get things like Tess Bodie. I thought was really good. She's still in the forward pool for. I'm trying to think on the fly here.
Albertin Montoya does such a good job as a coach in putting players into positions and roles to help them succeed. Tess Bodie, a player that started her career at North Carolina and was just hitting her groove before going to Bay. By the end of last season, she was the engine of Bay FC and all of their attack ran through her. She did such a good job of setting up Oshwala and Kundananji. But then when you go a little bit deeper into the midfield, Kiki Pickett became an excellent midfielder in this league under Albertin Montoya and with this Bay side. I think a lot of it has to do with having a bit more stability defensively behind Pickett with Dahlkemper, Menges, and goalkeeper Caitlin Rowland filling into that role and adding a lot of support defensively. But this was a team that just needed time together. And now that they've had all of last year, this offseason, a whole preseason together, they understand their strengths individually and as a group. They are taking such incredible steps in the right direction. Plus, you think of Asisato Shwala, Rachel Kundananji, they came into the NWSL having to learn a lot. And they grew so much in just understanding how the league works, the defenders that they're going up against, the travel that they had to deal with that they weren't used to coming from their previous clubs. Now it's year 2. I would be so scared to play against them, especially at the start of the season, because you know that they're going back and thinking about those first 5 games, how long it took for them to get wins, how exposed they were, and they're changing all of that heading into this year. Plus, they got the gall and the confidence to go for it. Remember when friggin' Rachel Kundananji stood on the ball?
And said, "Come hither."
She literally 2-foot stood on the ball. So what do you want to see? You said signings. What kind of player? Anyone in mind?
Oh, I think, well, Lisa, I was actually going to ask you where you think they need more depth, but I can go first. For me, I think it's in the forward line. And in that 6th position. I think Kiki Pickett did great. She's not a natural 6. She's an outside back through and through. She's improved a lot over in that position. But I do think they need some depth, and I think that's also a big position to have leadership in. So midfield for me. And then where is Kristen Hamilton going? I want her to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think Bay could be a good fit because sometimes with Kundananji and Ashawala, Rachel Hill came into that forward position at times. They need somebody that has been in this league, is fit, and just knows how to score. How many times did we watch Bay last year and think, oh my God, they're not confident, they're not putting goals away. Sound a lot of leadership. Are they fit? I don't know, which NWSL is a huge adjustment to come into. It really is. It's a different type of fitness level. It's a different type of grind. There's no easy games. But I think if I were going into the season, I wouldn't be thinking, oh, Bay's going to score a ton of goals still just yet. I hope they prove me wrong. I want to see them get a little bit more depth in that front line. Competition, let's say, not so much depth. I want to see them get more competition in the front line so that everybody has to raise their standards. And hey, if you miss that shot, you're not going to play. You miss that tap in, you're not going to play. Somebody else will who's going to put it away. But those are 2 positions for me where I think they need something more.
Yeah, good shout.
Some more Abby Dahlkemper goals.
Yeah, seriously.
But Lisa, I want to know where you think.
I think the forward line is a good line because they've got Dana Castellanos who struggled to adapt to the league. Penelope Hawking starting to find herself and her footing. The shout for Kristen Hamilton as a free agent to go to Bay, I love that. What about Mitch Purse? She hasn't signed anywhere yet, right? Am I missing something? Like she could freaking go there and add a wrinkle to how Bay attacks, because you have someone like Rachel Kundananji who wants the ball at her feet. She wants to be trickery, go 1v1, combine well. You've got Asisato Shwala who wants to get in behind. But if you had someone like Midge Purse who can float out on the right wing and whip crosses in, you have a triple threat there. You have a triple threat. Purse also wants the ball at her foot. She can tuck in at times. There's a lot of different movement that can happen there. I think in their midfield, Bay needs some depth, a little bit of veteran leadership to add more competition to that area and add maybe another ball playing midfielder, because Tess Bodie does a lot of the work and she is the creative mind, but she's not as flashy as someone else that could be in that midfield, right? Like, I don't even know if you think about like Lola Bonta, right? They have similar tendencies on the ball, but I think that attacking midfield wise and frontline wise, Bay has to shore up, because defensively, that's what they needed to fix last year. And they did that. They brought in Abby Dahlkemper. They've got Didasco. They still have young Savvy King who can come in and make a difference, right? She has gotten international call-ups with the U.S. I like that shout. Well, what do you think, Christine? Anything else I'm missing?
See, it's funny because I feel like I have more faith in their attack than sort of that midfield. And I'm just trying to think like if there's any veteran that could step in there that's still available and capable. And
In
I'd
the
have to
midfield,
run. Yeah,
McCall's or
um,
Boney.
that's true.
Yeah, she's a
Although
good
she
one.
doesn't really, I feel like Bay liked to play kind of pacey, and I don't think that she has the legs for it anymore. But I guess as sort of a foundational piece, yeah.
Guys, there's a lot of defenders that are still free agents. They're still out there. Megan Klingenberg, Kelly Hubley. I don't know. I'm trying to like go
Well, they
through the
still have
list.
Menges, right? They still have Menges,
They have
Dorian
Mangus.
Bailey,
Yeah,
who I
yeah.
think did pretty well. She's
Dorian
still
Bailey.
a little green, but was stepping up, was asked a lot, kind of got slotted in that 6
They
role a
could
few
pick
times.
up they could pick up Elise Bennett and train her to be a really good supporting cast player for Kundananji and Oshwala.
I
I
like
don't know.
that.
Now I'm just playing GM over here and having fun with it as I
It's okay.
always
We can put our GM hats on every once in a while.
Oh,
There's
it's really
still what we have like a week and some change left until the trade window closes. Anything can happen.
manifestation. Anything can happen. That's Bay. They did it in their first season. They made playoffs. Yes or no? Can they do it again in their second season?
Yes.
I say yeah. I have faith in, I mean, I really do regard Albertine very highly. I think he's good at cultivating youth too. And so it makes sense that they had so many sort of green players this season. But to do what he did, even with their failings this season, trying to implement a system, it takes a while, especially when you don't necessarily have all the right players to fill the roles. I think they really did um, galvanized toward the end of the season. And hopefully we start to see that Bay at the start of the season where they're defensively sound. They have multiple goal scoring opportunities, both from the back line and also from their attackers, and fix some of the weaknesses. That's all.
I want Rachel Kutananji contending for the Golden Boot at the end of this season. Yes, Bay makes the playoffs. I want it for them. We asked the people joining us live on YouTube right now if Bay FC makes the playoffs. They agree with my expert analysts here. 72% say yes, only 28% say no. Best of luck, Bay FC. Countdown is on to your first game and what happens this year. Don't go anywhere, guys. We are sticking in NWSL, trades and transfers, things that have happened. Stay with us. Welcome back to Attacking Third, NWSL offseason trades and transfer updates. Everyone, get out your tissues because we say goodbye to an MVP, to a legend who is leaving the league. Free agent Brazilian international midfielder Kerolin signs with Manchester City. Woo! Yes, you heard that right. Kerolin is going to the Women's Super League and playing with Manchester City. It's a 3.5-year deal until the summer of 2028. Holy cow. I am terrified of City's attack, Darian. Terrified.
Yo, they need it. They need some depth. I love this for Caroline. Obviously, we're sad to see her go from the NWSL under Sean Nahas. I think we saw her thrive and look so confident and reach a new level of her game, her fitness, her IQ, and really elevate that team. This makes a lot of sense in the next phase of her career. She quoted saying in an interview with Man City that she wants to play in Champions League. She wants to contend for titles week in, week out, and be with the best of the best and have a different type of competition with a different level of physicality. And I understand that. Hell, if I could go play in England, I would do it too. So this is a smart move. She's healthy. We've seen her from the Olympics. She looked so good. She looked like she hadn't even had an injury. And now with an off season under her belt, she's able to go into City and really help them bulk up their attack, whether it's in that attacking midfielder or across the front line. She's going to be super effective because after last week, City needs a little help up there, especially without Bunny Shaw in. So this move makes a lot of sense, and I can't wait to see how she shows up with that team.
I'm
Christine,
happy for
right?
her. Here's the thing, okay? I think that City were playing whatever version of British Nook if you buck when they signed Kerolin, because they still have that last season, last day, loss to Chelsea, and I know for sure they were like, listen, we have Bunny who's been in and out of being fit. We have Viv again who's making her comeback, knock on wood. And I wish them both the best. But they were like, yeah, we need another goal scorer. We need some pace. We need some technicality. And Caroline is absolutely the right call to make. Um, I am remiss to say I'm excited to see her link up even with like Hasegawa in the midfield. I think that she's going to run a little riot there over for Man City, and they need all of the support they can help at this point in terms of firepower. BWSL, unfortunately, that point spread just becomes a massive chasm really fast. So like the more you slip behind in points, the further away you drift very, very quickly. So for City to do this at this point is super, super smart. They're going to still obviously be chasing United and Arsenal and Chelsea. Bompastor is also on a tear.
Lisa, I wanted to ask you, do you think with Caroline going to City, this is enough firepower for them to potentially get to a Champions League final?
That all depends on health. It all depends on the health of this roster and this team for City. Yes, Kerolin is an absolute catalyst to do that, especially considering that was one of her main goals for even leaving the NWSL to compete in Champions League. And you name one player for me, Darian, that just wants to compete in something. No, everyone wants to win. You want to win, and that includes getting to a championship. If they have the health of players, full strength roster with Shaw, Miedema, Mary Fowler, Chloe Kelly, and Kerolin, plus you've got Ugina,
Yeah.
yes, hands down, they can do it. They could take right. It's a little bit more than just Champions League too, because even in the Women's Super League, Chelsea has just been dominant. You need a team that's going to give Chelsea a run for their money. And with this strength next season in Super League, yeah, they could do it. I think title contenders with
Oh, it'll
adding
be
Kerolin
tight.
to the mix.
It'll be tight, I think. I think that right now the two most formidable squads that could challenge Chelsea are really Arsenal and now United turning a corner.
Well,
So
this
like
season, I'm
City got to
talking
hit the
next
gas.
season. I'm thinking
Okay.
long game for City. They have to
Yeah.
think long game. I think Chloe Kelly's contract is still up in the
I don't know
air.
where she's going.
Yeah.
Houston's probably throwing money over to City to try to grab her. Houston's just taking everybody. Houston's got a bag. I know that jumping ship from City, but who knows where she's going to go. But I don't necessarily know, especially with the signing of Caroline, if that makes sense for her to stay there when she's already struggling for playing time with City. She wants to be in the national team. She wants to play in the Euros. This isn't the team to be at if you can't get those crucial minutes and be effective in the attack.
Yeah, Caroline's also, she's got her eyes on Brazil hosting the Women's World Cup in 2027. So yes, I think that we are going to see an insane jump in Caroline's game, which is hard to believe because the last time she played, she was named MVP in 2023 in the NWSL. Okay, let's move on to the team that's got the bag. D, you talked about it. Houston Dash, they signed free agent midfielder Danielle Colaprico through the 2026 season. Houston is bulking up. They finished in last place last year. Now they have Yasmin Ryan, Delaney Sheehan, Kristen Westphal, Abby Smith, and now Danny Colaprico. Woo! What a roster already for Houston.
Yeah, get your signings, Houston, because we eviscerated you last year. Eviscerated yourselves, in fact. Let's not even play. And I think that this is the biggest reset that Houston needed. They needed players to come in that have the NWSL experience that can help totally change the style of the team. They've signed a bunch of really good people, good energy people. And that's good people
heart.
bringing a lot of sage over to Houston because they have needed to waft out that energy that they've had the last few years and try to transform Houston Dash to actually be a team that's competitive in the NWSL, that's attractive. Clearly they are because they have a lot of money. That's attractive for players, big players, to go and help change this team around. And I like this midfield is scary already. Colaprico, Sheehan, Ryan can also pop into that 10 position. It's a good team. I think that, even if this, Gautrot is a new head coach in the NWSL, but this is exciting. You have players that are going to help you switch this around. And I think Colaprico's a key signing for them because veteran in the NWSL, she's great on the ball. One of the best players for San Diego last year that she was sorely missed whenever she wasn't playing. And this is going to be really effective for them going forward. And I can't wait to see how they show out in the first few games.
Getting Colaprico is such an even-keeled player. She is someone that is just going to, what you're getting, consistency day in and day out, and Houston needs that. And that's what they've done. You said it best, Darian. They're getting good people. Good players, yes, but good people that are going to work hard, show up, do everything that they can for the team, and look to turn the club around, honestly, as a whole. Some other moves coming out of Angel City FC. They sign Australian international defender Alana Kennedy. It's just a 1-year contract, but there is an option for Kennedy. They also have named an interim head coach. Sam Laity will be leading this Angel City side, at least to start, as they continue their search for another head coach. You must recognize this name. He's been in the NWSL forever, since its inception in 2013. He was an assistant at Seattle up until 2022 when he finally got the head coaching nod at Houston, but he only lasted about 9 months there, but all to do with performance and underperformances at Houston in that 2023 season. They just wanted more. But when you look at Angel City, Christine, they're making moves to be a team that is playoff contention, title contention in the NWSL with Kennedy and an interim in Sam Laity.
Yeah, Sam Laity obviously has tons of really, really great experience as an assistant under Laura Harvey, under Vlatko. I don't understand at this juncture in 2025 NWSL why you would appoint an interim as you start a season. I feel like you should be theoretically, but also in practice, appointing interims only where need be, especially when you make last minute sackings essentially of your coaches mid-season when you're not sure. But I feel like Angel City finished the season on the wrong foot. They hadn't really studied the entire season, where you kind of expected them to correct because they had done that the prior season. They didn't. Now you're going to start another season with this, just even if it's only emblematic of uncertainty, I feel like that's not how you rebuild a team with confidence.
For Angel City,
Lisa, how do you feel about that? Do you like Sam as an interim?
I like Sam as a head coach. I don't know why he's not just the head coach. Why hire an interim at this point? I mean, you've had time. You understood that you were going to let go of Becky Tweed. You could have started your search. There are a lot of good coaches out there. I mean, even the ones that have already been, quote unquote, snatched up in NWSL, with Houston getting Fabrice Gautrat. But there's a lot of good coaches out there. What are we doing? I guess the devil's advocate to that is they just hired Mark Parsons as the sporting director, and they might want him involved as a former head coach in the league in seeing what's happening. But if I'm Sam Laity, I'm kind of pissed. I've been an assistant for so long. I was a head coach at a tough club with Houston that didn't have enough personnel. I don't necessarily think it was his fault. And he probably wants that job. And it's can you imagine you just get it for a month or two until we figure out what we really want?
I think he absolutely wants that job. I totally agree. But I'm going to go with, sign him as an interim. Maybe they don't have a lot of confidence from, guys, I think Houston is hard to judge. For anybody from playing there to coaching there, it is really hard to judge somebody's merit and how they're going to show up and transform a team. When you go to a club like that who didn't even have a GM for how long, what the hell goes on there, we still don't know. But going to Angel City, you get this big opportunity, especially at the start of a season, to work with the team. You get a full preseason. Let's see what we're working with. And then, you know what? Let's put our bag. What number do you want? Because we got Disney money to keep you here and keep transforming this team. So I don't mind this. I'm excited for Sam Laity. He coached me when I was at Reign. I adore Sam. He's a great, great coach. Great for the attackers as well. really great at building IDP plans for players, putting into a style of play. We'll see. I think this is a good challenge for him. And I don't mind the interim because I think sometimes the NWSL is very overzealous with big signings and committing to coaches that, maybe the players aren't sure, maybe they're not sure, and they want to give them a little bit of time to see how they're really going to show up. And hey, if you've got some time running down on your clock as soon as you sign up to be the interim head coach, you're going to add pressure and bring your absolute best. So I don't mind it. I'm excited for Sam Laity, and we'll see how they show up.
They've had 3 months of the end of the 2024 season and 2 months of the off season to find and hire a good coach. No, I don't like that it's an interim to start this season, because as a player, you're like, okay, do I have you here? Are you not here? Are you going to stay? Like, developing a relationship with him? Like, is he then going to go from an interim head coach to a first assistant if and when they hire someone else? It's a safe move. And I don't like that. If you want to win championships, you have to be bold. You have to know what you want. You have to understand a style of play and understand the players that you already have on your roster, what they can do, and build upon that style.
But I think Mark Parsons coming in as late as they've hired him wants to have time to actually flesh that out. They have a relationship because they've coached against each other in the NWSL.
Right.
They have familiarity in the Cascadia between Portland and Seattle. It's been there. They know each other well. I think that style of play is going to come partially from Parsons. Sam Laity's been an assistant in this league for a long time, knows how to take word from somebody else and put it on the pitch. I understand that. And I think that's why they hired him. Maybe it is to bide their time to hire somebody else, but I also think you're bringing Mark Parsons in so he has an effect on the coaching job. He's not just coming in just to sit in this bubble about the entire organization. No, he's team focused.
I agree with you. I agree. Parsons
agree with
has
that.
been head coach, so he deserves to have influence. They also hired him way too late. A January 15th announcement for your sporting director when you don't have a head coach at your team, at your club? That's way too late. It's way too late.
Yeah, it's all late.
I agree with the logic, Darian, but for that reason that they aren't unfamiliars, that's why it's a bigger question mark in my head, because like Parsons and Laity, they've been swimming in the same waters all this time. You know the capacity. You also know all of the lore behind Houston. So for me, it paints even more of a bigger question of like, why interim? Like what qualities you could get with Sam. Why hang interim on him from jump? Like, give him the vote of confidence to enact what he thinks should be. I don't know.
I like that it's a pressure cooking situations.
Yeah.
Give some
You're like,
stability to
gas
the
on the
players,
pedal.
though.
Choop, 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 let's go.
All out,
yeah,
and we'll sign you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. We'll see how the interim title does for Sam Laity when the season starts for Angel City. Interesting. Let us know what you think. Should there be an interim head coach to start a season, or should they just have hired someone? Clearly, you know where I stand on this one. All right, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We got more Attacking Third. Stick with us. Hey everyone, welcome back to Attacking Third. We have a countdown. We have dates, we have games, we have competition. Ladies, we got an NWSL schedule drop. 26 matches per club, 13 home, 13 away, and some big fun asterisks to start this NWSL 2025 season. The Challenge Cup kicks off on March 7th with opening weekend of the regular season, March 14th through 16th. There's this new thing, NWSL Rivalry Weekend, August 8th through 10th. We'll get to see the Cascadia rivalry between Portland and Seattle, a SoCal rivalry between Angel City and San Diego, plus an East Coast battle between Gotham and Washington, and the return of Decision Day. We haven't seen it since the first and only time in 2023, but all 14 clubs will be in action on Sunday, November 2nd, before the playoffs start November 7th, and then the championship set for November 22nd. Countdown is on, ladies. We're here. Any matches that stood out to you that you were like, yes, I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to cover it. I'm excited to watch this. What'd you see, Dee?
I love Decision Day. Let's keep the drama. That's what people love about NWSL, but let's not make it about the players. Let's actually make it about the teams and how they're gonna go into the next phase trying to win an NWSL championship. I like it. I think this is what's going to attract more viewers to the league. This helps teams. You know what? Nobody knows what's going on. We have to ball out and throw everything in the kitchen sink at this match. So let's go. And Lisa, shout out to Lisa Carlin. She was very humble and did mention she covered the last and only Decision Day the NWSL did, and she absolutely crushed it. Hopefully we get to see her there again. But I like this. I think finally, what was our things we did at the beginning of the year of like, let this go, keep this or something?
Oh,
like
yeah. Leaving things in 2024 and then like
yeah. NWSL, yes. Why are we doing Decision Day games like in 3 different days? Put it all on one day. Let's go. Let's get here for the drama and let's see how teams show up, because that's how every other league in the world does it. So finally, maybe NWSL listened to our podcast and was like, yeah, maybe we should take notes. Who knows?
Listen. They definitely listen.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the very early scheduling of this Orlando Washington Spirit final 2.0. I want to see how much vitriol has festered in the off season, and how spicy we come in early. I think that's a point of excitement. Like, what a way to kick off the season early. Like, all right, let's go. Let's see what Washington Spirit's got in the tank now.
I love the shout for that, Christine. Guys, games are all across CBS Sports. 63 total matches across CBS family of networks, but one that I'm really excited for, we get it early. We get it first in the opening weekend. Kansas City against Portland. Do you remember their game last year to start the season at Kansas City at CPKC Stadium?
Was it 9 or 8 goals?
I think it was 5-4.
It was 9. What the hell?
9 goals. I want that again.
Yeah.
All goals, no defense. Let us know which game you have circled first on the NWSL schedule. It all starts. Opening weekend is set for March 14th.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to think about that. I wasn't reading anything. Think about that. Okay, guys, Barclays Women's Super League. It is back for match day 12 of 22. A whole slate of games to come this weekend, but all eyes are on Stamford Bridge as Chelsea hosts Arsenal Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. It is a top of the table clash. Arsenal last week, they got a 5-0 win over Palace, and that saw the Gunners jump in the standings and take second place. So now they are just 7 points off Chelsea in the standings, but Chelsea are unstoppable right now, dominating. They're at the top of the table. They are undefeated on the season. Give us a look at this game, Darian. Chelsea, Arsenal, what are you watching for, whether that's tactics or personnel?
I mean, it's a bit of both. Chelsea is on fire right now. To be honest, I don't know if there's a team that can stop them because, hey, let's try to shut down Mayra Ramirez. Cool. Catarina Macario is going to score a worldie off of her left. Vintage Stanford Catarina Macario showing up in Chelsea. Okay, we're going to sit in a low block and try to not give them anything near the 18. Well, great. Aaron Cuthbert will take a shot from distance and score a banger. There's no way to stop everybody on Chelsea squad, and I don't know if I truly believe, sorry, Cupo, that Arsenal has all those holes plugged. I think very few teams do to be able to stop Chelsea. Maybe I'll eat my words, maybe I won't. But for me, I think Chelsea's just got this in the bag. I think, honestly, they kind of have the season in the bag with how they're playing right now. And they have players coming back from injury that look even better than when they were before they got injured. So this is a team that's unstoppable for me, and I don't know if Arsenal has it in them to do it. Cupo.
Well, if there is a team that does, it's Arsenal. So Chelsea obviously have so many different quality goal scorers. They're also defensively sound. Arsenal really do have finally locked it down defensively. Emily Fox does such a big chunk of work, even in transition into that attack. Their passing's gotten cleaner. They've gotten much better. I do have some doubts in terms of just like goal scoring ability. They're really going to have to lean into it. My other concern, just as this season goes on, is Chelsea have just signed Gurma. Like I don't think that they could get more terrifying, and adding that layer to their defense is insane. It's insane. Chelsea right now, this is their 12th match day. They're currently on an unbeaten run. Arsenal, the last match string since Renee has taken the helm, absolutely perfect. However, I mean, I feel like if there is any cracks in that foundation, Chelsea will be the ones to find them. They'll also be playing at home against Arsenal. So this is going to be a massive, massive challenge. But if Arsenal can climb this mountain, full steam ahead.
If Arsenal can't beat Chelsea, can anyone?
No. The only other challenger right now would be United. And I think Skinner's sort of trying to light some fires underneath them. But I don't think that any other squad is as complete in BWSL this season. I think that as the season continues on and they sort of pick up injuries, not necessarily Chelsea, because I think they have significant depth at this point. But as you call through the other squads, that taper off from sort of the top of the table is so significant. It's a cliff. And with WSL, as I mentioned before, once the ship starts to pull away from the port, it's very hard to reclaim those points. If Arsenal lose this match, there's now a 10-point stretch between them and Chelsea. That's a big gap to sort of make up, irrespective of how things go forward. Now, why I say Arsenal are the most significant in this race against Chelsea, because United, the fixtures toward the end of this schedule are far more challenging than Arsenal have ahead. So whoever can sort of make up those points early on will stay in this race, but it's going to get a big, big gap very fast, especially with the way Chelsea are going.
A lot to look at in this match for Chelsea, Arsenal. The offense of Chelsea, they lead the league with 36 goals, guys, 220 shots from the Blues, and their expected goals is over 25. That is Super League leading for all of it. Meanwhile, guys, Arsenal defense has been really good. First in the league with 8 clean sheets. Their expected goals against is 6.7. So defensively, Arsenal is really stout. That's where this game is going to be won and lost, hands down. I love a good fun fact, and I love a good stat. Arsenal has not beat Chelsea away from home in nearly 7 years. They have failed to win their last 5 Women's Super League matches against Chelsea on the road. That is
insert the Titanic lady that's like, it's been 7 long years. Yeah, I think we're going to add on a
we're
couple
hit
more.
with injuries over those last 5 meetings away.
It doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters. I think in looking at the way that Arsenal set up tactically in that 3-back, if I'm Chelsea's front line, I'm looking at my chops, looking at the space behind Catley and Fox. They both like to go forward. They're bold, aggressive in the attack. It leaves them really exposed with just Williamson back there. I like that they're playing in a 3-back. Don't get me wrong. I love that. But it's so vulnerable against a side like Chelsea. I don't see it working in their favor. Maybe we'll get a high-scoring match, though. Well, I like the drama of that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Russo's on a streak. She's looking confident. Dente is also on a streak. They have a great attack as well.
Emphasis for Arsenal fans. If you're looking at this match and you're thinking, what can we do? How can we do it? You're cheering for Alicia Russo to score another goal. She's on a 6-match scoring streak. She can extend that to 7. I think that's kind of like the silver lining of this for the Gunners side. We did a poll on YouTube. Who's going to win this game, Chelsea or Arsenal? 91% say Chelsea is going to win. Only 9% saying that.
Sorry,
Arsenal
Christine.
Christine, do you have faith in your Gunners?
I mean, I'm always going to be rooting for my Gunners. However, I can be objective too. I know that this is a massive challenge, and it is very early on in the season, but it will be a pivotal point going forward for, who's carving deeper into this title race.
Top of the table clash, Chelsea, Arsenal, Sunday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Watch it, because Monday, Attacking Third is back 11 a.m. Eastern time right here on YouTube or anywhere you listen as a podcast. We're going to recap it, keep you up to date on all the trades and transfers, things that are happening in the NWSL as countdown to 2025 season start is fully underway. Guys, thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for joining us. If you're with us on YouTube, Darian, Christine, it's always a pleasure chat footy with you. Dee, it was good to have you back today. You missed us?
Glad to be back, fam. I really did.
Gang.
Thanks everyone so much for joining us. Follow Attacking Third across socials at Attacking Third. Listen as a podcast. We're on Golazo Network. We're on YouTube. You can watch us anywhere you want. And we'll see you on Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. For Darian and Christine and Mark, I'm Lisa. This was Attacking Third.